Good morning, student. This is reproduction in plant part 2. In the first part, I have explained you about the asexual reproduction, and in this, I am going to explain about the sexual reproduction in plants. Now, what do you mean by the sexual reproduction of plant or sexual reproduction? It means that it is the formation of new plants through the fusion of male and female gametes. It is carried out by flowering plant only. Flowers are the reproductive organs of a plant. There are two main types of flowers, that is complete flower or incomplete flower, or you can say bisexual flowers or unisexual flowers. Incomplete or bisexual flowers, it contains both male and female reproductive cells. They have all the four parts like sepals, petals, stamens, pistils. All these parts have been discussed with you in class 6 also. So you should know about what are sepals, petals, stamens and pistils. In incomplete flower, it contains either male or the female part of reproductive cells. They have only three parts, that is sepals, petals, stamens or pistils. Okay, it is written or pistils or stamen. In bisexual, it has both stamens and pistils. The examples of bisexual flowers are hibiscus or citrus, and unisexual flowers are papaya or corn. As we are talking about the stamen and pistils, let us know what they are. Stamens is a male organ and pistil is female organ. Stamen bear anthers which contain pollen grains which produce male cells, or you can say male gametes. Pistil consists of stigma, style and ovary. The ovary produce female cells, or you can say gametes. I think the picture which is given, the diagram which is shown to you is very much clear that stamen contain anther and filament. It contains pollen grains also, and in the pistil, if a female organ, that is pistil, it consists of style, stigma, ovules which contain ovary which contain the female gametes. It is very much visible in the diagram, you can see, students. Now this is a clear picture of how the sexual reproduction undergo in a flowering plant. A mature plant flowers. After that, which process undergo? Pollination. After that, fertilization takes place, which produces fruits. From the fruits, the seeds are produced. These seeds are sown, again a new mature plant undergoes. Let us discuss about pollination. Transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma of a flower is known as pollination. It is the first step in the process of seed formation. There are two types of pollination, that is self-pollination and cross-pollination. In self-pollination, pollen grains are transferred from anther to the stigma of the same flower. This must be noted down, that the pollen grains transferred from anther to stigma of the same flower. In cross-pollination, pollen grains are transferred from anther of one flower to the stigma of another flower of same kind but different plants. You can see through this figure also. Agents of pollination means, what are the agents which help in pollination? The first is wind. Wind blows away pollen grains from the anther of one flower to the stigma of another flower. Features of these flowers are, they are small, not bright in color, they do not produce nectar. Features of pollen grains are, as they are blown by the wind, they are very light in weight and produce in large number. This type of this type of pollination by wind is seen in wheat, rice, and maize. Water. What pollen grains are released into the water are carried out by water current to other flowers. The example of these pollinations are seagrass and Vallisnaria. Insects visit flowers for nectar. Some pollen grains stick to the body parts of these insects. When these insects visit another flower, the pollen grains fall on the stigma. The features of this flower are they have a very sweet smell, a bright in color, for example, rose and sunflower. White green petals for nocturnal insects, example jasmine and cactus. Features of pollen grains, they should have sticky pollen grains. The next part in the sexual reproduction of flower is fertilization. The process of fusion of male and female gamete is called fertilization. After successful pollination, the stigma secretes nutrient. Pollen grains absorb these and start growing in the form of a thin tube called pollen tube until it reaches the ovule inside ovary. Then releases male gamete into the ovule. Fertilization takes place, result in the formation of zygote. Fruit and seed formation. After fertilization, ovary enlarges to form the fruit. The wall of the ovary becomes the fruit wall. The ovules become seed. A fruit may have one or more seed. Remember that the wall of ovary becomes the fruit wall and the ovules becomes seeds. Petals, sepals and other parts of the flower usually dry up and fall off. The fruit is the seed bearing part of the ripened ovary of the flowering plant. The seed is the ripened ovule which contain an embryo and is covered by a protective coat. The process by which the embryo in the seed becomes active and begins to grow into a new plant is called germination. You can see the figure also. Now, dispersal of seed. The process by which seeds or fruits are scattered is called dispersal. This can be taken help with a few agents, you can say, like dispersal by explosion, dispersal by wind, dispersal by water, dispersal by animals. The examples in this part is very much important because it can be asked that the dispersal by explosion, which of the following is shown? For example, pea plant, which plant, castor or blossom. Dispersal by wind, drumstick, dandelion, maple. Dispersal by water, that is coconut. These are the examples you have to learn by heart. Thank you. Hope that you all are well also. Go through this lecture very much properly. With the help of book also you can understand. And be attentive. Thank you.